Good evening, everyone. Good evening, and welcome back to Let's Talk Destiny Virtual Talk Show. I am your host, Jamie Green, and I am blessed to be with you tonight. Want to remind you before I forget, because I'm always accused of forgetting this, to like and share the video. There will be some information shared by my guest tonight that will bless your life, and you need to share this so you can go back and watch it as many times as you need to. We also like to remind you to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. There are so many conversations there. Dr. Elissa joined. This is like her second or third time with me, and every conversation we've had, you will find over there on the YouTube channel. So I encourage you to subscribe to the channel and be blessed. So tonight, I am beyond excited to have with me, as I've said all month. I understand that this is Women's History Month, but I have chosen to honor women that impact my life today and that are speaking life to me and encouraging me. And there is absolutely no way I could do that this month without including Dr. Elissa Gabrielle. We connected several years ago on social media, and she has been such a blessing to me. Spiritually, physically, she's helped me with some areas with regard to my health. Mentally, I mean, she's just been a blessing to me. And so tonight, I honor you in so many ways. Before I bring her to speak with you, I do want to let most of you probably know her or have heard of her. But for those of you who don't know her, she is a national best-selling author who empowers, enlightens, and she's very engaging and inspirational. You can never have a conversation with her without walking away with some gem that will bless your life. She is a powerhouse in the literary industry, promoted and published multiple books, authored multiple books. I tease her as being the woman that has fire in her pen because it seems like whatever she decides to write something down, it turns into something magnificent. And I'm honored to be connected to this beautiful woman. She's the author of multiple poetry books, numerous novels, and contributor to several anthologies. Elissa Gabrielle hails from Newark, New Jersey, where she was born and raised. And she is also, in addition to an author, she's a publisher, a screenwriter, a producer, a brand ambassador, a certified natural health professional, and certified life coach. She is also a doctor of natural pathogy. Is that right? I could never get that word right. But I have been so blessed to have this woman in my life. And I promise you that if you connect with her on any level, your life will be forever changed. Welcome back to the platform. It is so good to see you.
Yeah. Listen, I feel so encouraged by that wonderful introduction. And I'm happy to be here with you. And you do so much for so many of us. And so we honor you as you honor us. What's that saying? I am my sister's keeper. So I can't sit here and take all the glory on this wonderful platform because of you. So many of us get to reach a whole new audience. And so we value you and we appreciate you as well.
Thank you so much. I remember when I first started this platform. First, let me go back even a little further. I think it was in 2013 that I was doing blog talk radio. And you were my very first guest on
That's right.
my very first guest. Yes. And then
10 years ago.
Yeah. And then later on that year, I had my first stroke and had to have my first spinal surgery. And it's just been one thing after another. But we have maintained contact through the years. And whenever I have reached out to you, you have always responded. So I want to publicly thank you for that.
Oh, listen, it's an honor to be reached out to. And I'm glad that we have one another.
Absolutely. Like to remind those of you who are joining us to please share this video on your page. Encourage some other friends to join us. Dr. Elissa has touched so many lives, and there's so many of us here on social media that have been blessed by her. And we'd like to encourage her tonight by tuning in and hearing the
Mhm.
words that she will speak to you, because they will change your life. Also, like to remind you, we mentioned this earlier in the day, that because of who she is, the gracious, beautiful lady that she is, she comes bearing gifts. And so we are going to be giving away at near the end of the show an autographed book by Dr. Elissa Gabrielle. And so if you would like to be able to have the opportunity to win that book, you need to stay tuned to the show. And we will tell you later on what you need to do to win that. So, Dr. Elissa, let me ask you a question. First of all, when I think of you, I think of a literary doula, because you have helped so many people give birth to their literary babies. And as you go through that process of seeing someone come to you with something on paper and they say, Elissa, I want to turn this into a book. And you
Mhm.
walk them through that process just like a doula does with a woman who's giving birth to a
Yeah.
baby. How does that process feel to you?
Ooh, you know, I think it's changed over the years. The foundation has always been I consider myself an envoy by which dreams come true. And so that I went with that for such a long time. I started Peace in the Storm Publishing in 2005. So we're in year 18.
Wow.
So, as we grow and we evolve, our thought processes and our mindsets change a bit. So I do think that I am a catalyst and the envoy, but I also know that in the foundation of this is just part of my calling.
Yes.
And I'm just here to serve in many capacities, and this is one of them. So when I am helping someone reach their goals of, I call it taking a manuscript to masterpiece, it's an honor for me. It's a lot of hard work because I really don't want to put my name on anything that I wouldn't put out for myself.
Yes.
And so I hold it to a higher standard. You came to me for a reason, and that reason could be one of many. I've learned over 18 years that you can come to me because you have a dream, or you could come to me because you have a dream.
Yes.
So
Yes.
those dreams vary by individual, but those who are sincere in spirit and sincere in heart, trust me. And trust doesn't come easy. And I never want to break anyone's trust when they have put that in me to help them birth their vision. Like you say, a doula.
Yeah.
If you are birthing a baby, you're not just going to go to anyone. So there's a lot of responsibility here.
Yes.
I try to manage expectations, but be their biggest cheerleader and their motivator. And so it's a combination of hard work, touching and agreeing, managing expectations, pulling out the very best in them. So, and I'll tell you what that means. Years ago, Cheryl Lacey Donovan and was one other Peace in the Storm author created this nickname for me, and I hated it at the time, and I still hate it, but I understand. So they called me Ike Turner. And I said, oh my God, you know, what do we know about Ike Turner? Why would you call me that? And they said the way that I, just got them to be their very best. And I think in life we should be for each other what we needed when we needed
Yeah.
somebody, like who we are now, the best versions of ourselves today. And so I didn't want you to put out a mediocre book when I knew that I could bring out the best in you.
Yes.
So I got that name. I was pure in spirit, but the tactics may have been questionable. But they put out their best work because I wanted to take that extra step and say, this is more than what potential monies could come through or anything like that. This is about you being your best self, and let's get to your best self right now. So I hope that answers the question.
Absolutely, it does. So,
Mhm.
as of this date, how many books have you personally authored and how many books have you published?
Mhm. Personally authored, not as many as I like, to be honest. I've been in some anthologies. I've written about 7 novels. I did have some writing partners at one time, and those, everything has an expiration date.
Yeah.
I enjoyed those partnerships while they lasted. Um, but I will say it's just not enough. I am back to writing. I've ghostwritten some books. I can't talk about those, but if I could add those to the number, I'd probably feel better about it.
Yes.
But yeah, I am back to writing now. I did stop for a while. Lost my dad and was in school at the time. And, a lot of scientific writing.
Yeah.
So if you're writing for psychology and other things, it's hard to get creative when you're in that mode.
Yes.
And then after you lose your dad, he was everything. And it's like, oh, I'm fizzling out here. But by the grace of God, we fall down and we get up,
We
right?
get up.
We
Amen.
get up. Thank God for getting up.
Yeah, I know that's right. Thank God.
Thank God for being able to put 2 feet on the ground, because that was, ooh, I tell people now, surviving that means I can survive anything. You can hit me with the hardest blow right now, and I probably won't even feel it, because I've been through some of the worst that I can imagine. But
Yes.
having said that, I'm proud of the fact that I've published over 150 books.
Yes.
Um, but when it comes to me writing personally, I've done some great work. I mean, I've been featured in many places, and
Absolutely.
The Beholder, made it to USA Today. I'm good,
Yes.
but
Yes.
it's time to write more. Along the way, though, I did author some screenplays and shopping some things around. So I did have some creative moments in the last 2 years,
Yes.
created some new television shows that were shopping, but I'm
Wow.
ready for my next novel, and I'm really excited to get back to that. So I hope to have something soon. I'm not going to rush it because it has to top whatever I've done.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so it'll be soon, and Lord willing, real soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, before we move on talking to anything else, while we're still talking about the literary gems, I am just tickled and I'm excited and just, all like this kind of antsy to have been selected by you to
Yeah.
be a contributor to an upcoming anthology. And every time I think about it, I just start smiling because I think about um, that you chose me. Like there were so many other people that could have been selected, and the fact that you chose me means the world to me. And I don't know if we're ready to even talk about that project yet, but
You
I
can.
want to
Yeah.
publicly thank you for choosing me.
Well, listen, you chose me. I told you we chose each other, right? We're
Yes,
supposed to be here together on this part of our journey, and
yes,
it feels good. I'm so glad that you're here. It was time to put out a book with all women.
yes,
I
ma'am.
had been focusing on the soul of a man. We did
Mhm.
parts 1 through 3. I'm very proud of that. I wanted to give a platform to Black men to tell the world who they are and not have that story be told for them, right?
Right, right.
And then I said, well, now it's time for the ladies, and we need to tell our story as well. And so you're the perfect person to be in this book. I feel like if you say, I could have chosen other people, I couldn't have. I was meant to choose you for
Oh,
this.
thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you. I
yeah. It's
appreciate
been a
it.
decade we've been together. It's time for
Yes.
us to do this part together.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'd like to take this moment to say a welcome and thank you to Miss Joyce Brown. She said good evening to you and to I. And we appreciate you joining us tonight, and we hope that you enjoyed the show. Again,
Yes.
like
Hi, Joyce. Thank you for stopping by. I feel like I know that name, and I'm sure I've
I'm
seen
sure
Joyce.
you do. She's an author as well, so I'm sure you
Okay.
are.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love
I have a couple of her books. um
that. Right.
yeah, she's powerful. I'm just connected to so many. It's funny to me that I know so many women authors
Mm-hmm.
and even publishers, and I see you guys posting things like, oh, I wrote 5,000 words today, I wrote 10,000 words
Right.
today. And I'm like, I do good to get 10 words. 10 words.
Listen, some people don't get any words. You got 10, tomorrow I'll be 50.
My
It's all
my
right.
family's always teasing me because I started this children's book. Well, I started the idea of a children's book after my parents died,
Mm,
about how grandchildren respond to the death of grandparents.
yeah.
Um, and my youngest two grandchildren, well, not the 3-year old, but the next ones to that, they were like 5 and 6 when I started this book. And so every so often they'll say to me, Nana, you have not finished that book yet. And now they are 17 and 18.
That's all right. It's all
And
right.
I'm like, just leave me alone. Yeah, I'll get it done. I'll get it done.
Right. Leave me alone. See, you got that. You can pull the grandma card and just leave me alone.
Just leave me
But you
alone.
you got to write that book.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. I actually have been working on it
Yes,
this week. Yeah, I'm doing
I
good.
understand.
Okay, so before we as we continue our conversation, I want to talk about um this part of your journey with
Mhm.
regard to the in addition to birthing literary works, you are a naturopathic healer. And I have heard that word a lot down through the years, but I never really took the time to interact with somebody one on one personally to get an understanding. And I think
Mhm.
probably if I had done that years ago, I wouldn't be suffering some of the ailments that I have right now. But time, God's timing is God's timing. So
Yes.
can you explain a little bit to us what exactly that means and
Mhm.
how you operate in that field?
Hmm. I didn't start talking about this for quite some time. I mean, I've been studying it for the last 10 years or so. I didn't know how to introduce it because people knew me as an author and a publisher and all the many hats that I wear. I felt like that was a conversation and a gift between me and God, and I call it soul work.
Yes.
And I've been doing it so long and helping so many people. I said, you can't really keep this a secret anymore because you've learned some things and you've applied some things. Also, this country doesn't really like naturopaths, so you really have to be careful because if you can't diagnose,
Yeah.
but you can connect dots. And once you have the information, you know.
Yes.
And so I feel obligated to share it. And let me just go back to something you said earlier about some of the struggles you've had. You don't know what you don't know.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
Maya Angelou said, when you know better, you do better.
You better. Yeah.
We have so many tools to help now, especially in our community. We pass down these generational wonderments, right? As Black people, Black and Brown people, we are just, and I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way. I'm just using because I can't find another word, but we're magic, right?
Yeah.
We're blessed. We are just otherworldly. We're just so godly, right? You think about us as a people and you think about slavery and what that did to us. And then we think about high blood pressure
Yeah.
and high cholesterol and diabetes and strokes. Do you think what happened to our ancestors and what's in our bloodline have traveled through our bloodline and we pass that on to the next generation,
Yeah.
right? It can't be a mystery to even think about it that way. That has to make some sense to someone. Your mother's 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 mother was perhaps beaten and raped and birthed the children of her slave master. How could that not affect you?
That's right. That's right.
So we have tools now that will help us. We don't have to pass down certain things that we
Yes.
think are hereditary. We don't have to pass down high blood pressure and diabetes and high cholesterol. It's in what we're eating. You could take that back to slavery. We ate scraps, we ate what was left for us, and we made it fabulous, right?
That's right. That's right.
But now we realize that we can't pass that down to our children. In tradition, we can. In daily living, we cannot. You want to know how to make your great grandma's peach cobbler. You want to know how to make granddad's ribs and his fried chicken, you know? But you also want to drink your wheatgrass powder and your moringa and other things that we have available to us. But we don't know what we don't know.
That's true.
And so that's how somebody like me comes in. And I'll tell you what works and what I've learned. Anything that I pass on to a client, most times I've done myself.
Okay.
My mother-in-law, and I never talk about my husband's family in particular on these things. I just respect him enough for that. I will tell the stories about uh, if they mistreated me as a whole or anything like that, because other women need to know. When you expose your scars, you give people the freedom to heal. So
That's
I
right.
may say they supported me greatly during this, but they treated me so unfairly during this. That is
Yeah.
my story. I'm entitled to tell it. But I don't talk about my husband's family in particular because I don't think that's fair. He has some wonderful people in his family. But my mother in law said many years ago, "You have healing in your hands." And she repeated that line that my mother said many years ago, "You have healing in your hands." What? Okay. So the catalyst came when I witnessed my sister die suddenly. She had battled drugs and alcohol for most of her life. It was during the Reaganomics era in the early 80s. I was a young baby then. And I saw what that crack cocaine did to her in our community. She finally beat it. After she beats it, she dies suddenly. It was tragic.
Wow.
That
Yes.
opened my eyes.
Right.
She was 8 years older than me. She was in her early 40s and she died.
Wow.
And then that was January. May of that year, my father had his first stroke. I said, this is not a coincidence that he had a stroke, a few months after my sister died.
That's right.
And then it was death after death after death. And then I started to understand and started to study the mind, body, soul connection. When my mother was diagnosed with cancer and she lost all of her hair and one doctor didn't know what was going on with her and they just weren't holding hands as physicians to help her.
Right.
It was the most tragic thing I've ever seen in my life. All of my hair fell out. I said, my God, my hair is gone. I just shaved it all off. Like, I can't even deal with this right now. I'm in the back of ambulances riding with my mother. She's having these chemo crashes and all the really devastating things that happen with cancer. I wasn't as good as I am now. And I regret that, not being able to save her life. And I think I just let go of that responsibility maybe a year ago because
Yeah.
that was burdening me to the point like it's just, don't do that. She wouldn't want that.
Right.
So I witnessed that. I walked through that. And then the type of cancer that she had was lung cancer that traveled to her brain. And it
Wow.
killed her. It killed her in 13 months. And what I learned on that 13-month journey was some things that I learned when I was in a natural health college. Every organ that we have connects to an emotion.
Wow.
So the emotion that we store in our lungs is grief and sadness. My mother watched so many people in her life mistreat her. She died of a broken heart, and that cancer killed her. She was storing and carrying that grief in her
Yeah.
lungs. Yeah, she really was. And so I understand all of this now. And I think that after everything that I've witnessed and the amount of people that I've helped, it would be a disservice to me and a dishonor to God to not talk about it. Yeah.
Wow.
I
And
had someone.
I was thinking about something when you were talking earlier about going back to this time of slavery, and how we were given the scraps to eat. We were, treated as less than human and so forth and so on, until they wanted to use our bodies uh, for whatever reason. But, something that just came into my mind was, even though they despised us, thought we were disgusting, wouldn't even, call us human beings, when their children were sick, they would come to us for herbs and for potions, for things that they thought would help heal their children. And I think, as you were talking, it dawned on me that sometimes we don't know what we don't know, but we also don't know what we have right in our hands to
That's
heal
it.
us. Like, we can
Yes.
use it to heal other people, but we don't see what it can do to heal us. Wow.
Yeah. And so social media can be a wonderful thing if you allow it to be. And the internet. And it's to just take 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour a day and read and learn and absorb and digest.
Yes.
And you'll find that you'll become more sound in the area that you're putting the most attention. So we can dedicate an hour a day playing on social media, having a good time. But you can also dedicate an hour a day to learning about the healing benefits of, I want to say, Ceylon cinnamon. Right now, you and I both have spinal issues. In 2021, I fractured my vertebrae, and it
Oh,
has caused nerve damage. And they're trying to put me on, it's an anti seizure medication that helps with the nerves, right?
mhm.
That anti seizure medication, from my research, can also cause, some other issues. I don't want to do that until I have to, right? I
Yeah.
found a way to work on this naturally. And I'm going to show you something that I have. And I'm not telling anybody to use this. I'm telling you something that I use. I won't
That
even show you
works for
any of
you.
it,
Yeah.
but I'll show you this cup. It's a huge cup that I've been drinking from today. It's full of distilled water, and it's full of micro daily. It has a
Okay.
detox formula in it, and it has this nerve formula that is working.
Oh, wow. I need to write that down.
We're going to talk about it, right?
Yes,
And so
ma'am.
let me start with some of this stuff here first before you cause me, dementia maybe 10 years from now with the other stuff. I'm too young for that. And so, but again, we don't know what we don't know. So you come to somebody like me and I'll help you figure it out. I had a woman on my table, and because I go on the weekends to the office. I don't do this 7 days a week. It's just too much to help
Yeah.
somebody heal their life. It's like it would drown me, right?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
this was about maybe 4 weeks ago on a Sunday. I had someone on the table. It's like a massage table. It's heated. It's really nice and beautiful. And I have a little stool that I sit at their feet. So they're laying back. They're comfortable. Nice soft music playing. It's a really nice doctor experience. And so I'm at their feet doing reflexology and finding all the pressure points. There's something, it's a spot in your foot for every organ in your body. And I use like a combination of peppermint oil and some other things, especially if they're in pain, to help relieve it. And so I start talking to them. I started talking to her about her life. And I look up and she's laying down, but she wants me to not know that she's crying. And I said, this is the place to get it out.
Yeah.
And she cried and cried and cried. And I'm rubbing her feet and I'm telling her how I feel so much congestion in this area, and she's got these bad headaches and everything like that. She hasn't pooped in about 3 days. And we finished the whole session. And she called that night and she said, Dr. Elissa, I finally went to the bathroom. She let it out. She said, my head isn't hurting. I explained to her uh, why she was having those digestive issues. It was more than physical. The stuff that she couldn't process and digest in her own life. We have to get to that.
Yeah.
You can't swallow um, what some of the things that have happened to you. It's all connected. And I might sound like a nut, but baby, let me tell you, those people are healing. You hear me?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, they are. So I'm honored by the calling. I don't know half of what I need to know, but I'm sure in what I do know.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I'm always trying to get better. Yeah.
Wow. I
Yeah.
love that. I know some of the conversations that you and I have had in the past, with regard to some of my issues with my lungs and what have you. Um, it had to, it opened me up mentally, physically, spiritually in some ways because I was carrying a lot of stuff in here, a lot of
Yeah.
grief, a lot of whatever. And I have very few issues with my lungs now. Like the last time I went to the pulmonologist, he was like, okay, I don't, we don't see anything in x-rays. Your lungs sound wonderful. We'll see you in a year. At one point, I was going
Mhm.
like every 3 months,
Yes, of
one
course.
time even every month because I was having these flare ups so often where
Mhm.
I just could not breathe. But every now and then I'll hear your voice um, speaking to me about releasing things. Some things I just absolutely cannot carry because number one, it's not mine to carry. And then I can't really do anything about it. And so
Yeah.
I value the gift that you have, and I value the knowledge that you have, and not this that you have the knowledge, but you want to share it. Some people have knowledge, but they don't want to share it.
Right.
Uh, it's like I just keep it all for myself and my family. But you're not
Mhm.
that type of a person, and that's the reason why the healing that you possess from birth um, has allowed you to bless other people and to help other people be healed, even when you didn't even realize that that's what you were doing.
Yeah. Well, I remember on our last interview that we had, I told you a couple things, and I said, "Why your back hurt?" You remember that? And I told you something like, I think, that you carrying things that don't belong to you, and it's heavy, right? And so one of the things that I know you have to do, you have to forgive yourself for not being perfect. You come from a rich legacy, and that's a lot to live up to. But I want you to know that you are enough and beautifully, phenomenally, wonderfully made, and absolutely enough right here, right now, in this moment.
Wow. Thank
So forgive yourself for all of the weight that you have carried because you feel like you aren't enough. When it's you so much enough, it don't make no sense how much
you.
enough
Oh
you
my goodness. Thank you. Wow. I appreciate that.
that grief that comes with not forgiving ourselves is stored here.
Yeah.
And then you can't breathe. You deserve to breathe
Yes, ma'am.
and continue to breathe new life into you. You can do that for yourself. I wake up every morning, and some days this back thing really got me last year. And I'm turning the corner now, but now I wake up every morning. I say, "Thank you, Lord." And I say, "I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm whole, and I'm healed." And
Yes.
I say that to myself every morning because the cells in your body are listening to every thought you have and every word you speak. I am so careful with what I speak now. My kids love it because when they get on my nerves, they say I'm Mary Jones from Precious. I mean, I would just be on it like you could put a rap beat to how I'll be getting those kids. And they say, "Lord, ma." And I say, "I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm whole, and I'm healed." And I
Yeah.
teach my children to do the same so that when they birth my grandchildren, You see how that works?
Yes, yes,
And my
absolutely.
son runs a mile a day. He drinks his moringa, his calendula. He drinks distilled water. He's juicing. Uh, what is he going to pass down to my grandchildren?
Right, right.
Now, he can throw down in the kitchen like his mom, but he knows how to balance that.
Yeah.
And I say, Pop,
Wow.
and he say, I know what I'm speaking into existence. We have to show our children that. It's so important
Uh,
because it goes to the next generation and it goes to the next generation from there.
wow, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Wow. See, this is why I wanted this opportunity to sit and talk with you because
Yes.
I cannot think of any time that I ever had a conversation with you that I didn't get something from it that was soul food for me.
Hmm.
And I know that it's soul food for everyone else who's listening, those who will be listening later. Um, you are gifted to heal people through your words, through your voice, through your hands. And I just thank God so much for you. And I could not let this month go by without me honoring you for the blessing that you are in my life. If anyone who is listening, you have any questions or comments
Yes.
for Dr. Elissa, please feel free to type them in. I noticed the other night when I went back and looked at the video that my sister and I did about my mom, that there were some comments that I could see when I went back to Facebook that I couldn't see here. So if that's the case, I apologize. If I see your comment like I did with Miss Joyce, I will respond to it. But if I don't, it's not that I'm ignoring you. I just don't see the comment. But I appreciate you just the same. So, um, as we prepare, I'm not going to keep you all night or anything
No,
like
it's
that. But
okay. I'm here.
what what is the ultimate goal? What is the ultimate vision for Elisa Gabrielle? What is the ultimate dream that you have?
Hmm. Ultimate dream. Hmm. My ultimate dream is to, well, it's a couple things there, but to continue to honor my mother and father, although they're not here physically. I know they're with me every day.
Yes, absolutely.
Continue to honor my mother and father because they created me. To continue to honor um, my children because they are an extension of me. To continue to honor my husband with whom I share my life.
Yes,
So those three, that trinity is
yes,
who I am. That's my life.
yes.
To continue to honor them in everything I say and speak and do because that's my life, right? Um, One of my ultimate goals and the vision I have for my life is to allow God to continue to use me as He sees fit, to continue to forgive me when I fall because I fall. And I've made so many mistakes in life that I think I'm going to make a few more because I've
Yeah,
learned so much from them.
yes,
And when death comes knocking on my door like a thief in the night, I just hope there's nothing left for him to steal. I hope that God will use me, just use me, and let that be my rent for the life that you've given me. Let me pay back in that way. I see. Can you please list some of your books? Hi, Joyce. My favorite book by me is Eye of the Beholder. It was recommended by USA Today as a romance. And so I would start there. And I hope to have something else for you soon. I will post a link on my Facebook page for some of the others that I've written in the past and published in the past.
awesome. And as she says, she will definitely list her links for her books, her website, what have you, so that you can get in touch with her. We will also have her list the link for her holistic, I want to say ministry, because it
Mm.
is ministering to every part of us, parts that we didn't even realize we needed ministry in. And
Mm.
so I'm just beyond, I just don't even know what to say, because whenever I feel like I'm sitting at your feet, and my soul is being fed, and things are being stirred up in me that are nudging me forward to take a few more steps forward. As you said earlier, I live with chronic pain. Like, I mean, some days I can hardly walk from one room to the other,
Yes.
but I keep making myself go, because I know that if I just lay there,
Hmm.
then I'm going to die there. And
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. And when I talk with you, or I even just watch you on social media, you inspire me to keep moving, even when you don't even realize that. And so I appreciate you. Now, I have one more question I want to ask you before we talk about gifting someone a book.
Hmm.
I think that my superpower is my spiritual sensitivity. Um,
Hmm. Oh, I love that.
what do you
That's
think your
heavy.
superpower is?
Whew. Empathy. Empathy. Now watch when I go back and think about this at 3:11 a.m. I'm gonna say, why didn't I tell her
Yeah,
something else?
yeah.
Yeah. But that's the word that comes to mind. Empathy. It's a gift when you give it and when you receive it. So I'm gonna say empathy. And I just want to say something here. I'm trying to get this earring
Oh,
here. I received these earrings from Karen Childers, and she
they're
has a beautiful
beautiful.
jewelry line. You
Okay.
know, I signed my first modeling contract at age 40. And so I just want to show these beautiful earrings that she gave me. And that's not a plug. I'm not getting paid for it. I love when people send me gifts. I'm so grateful. So I do have
I
her
know,
earrings.
I am too. So maybe you can share her link as well, and we can go and
Yes.
check her out. Yeah, we can go and check her out. I'm all about support and
Yes.
uplifting people. I was thinking about this, even this talk show, and I remember when I first started doing this, I didn't intend for it to be this long. I just was doing it that month to honor my mom, and so
Yes.
when somebody said, "Oh, you should keep doing it," I was like, no, I don't know how to do a talk show. I don't have the setup to do a talk show, whatever. And here I am 2 years later, still doing it, and it's because of people like you who nudge me and encourage me
Yes.
to keep going. So I did want to mention, I haven't been doing a really good job of advertising or anything, but this is the second year of the Let's Talk Destiny talk show. And one of the things I wanted to do to celebrate is to do a souvenir booklet for
Oh,
the talk show. So
nice.
I've been posting, asking people to purchase ads. I haven't really gotten a good response, but I'm going to still
Okay.
keep posting anyway.
Yeah. You keep
And
asking.
yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
And because I'm just so thankful for this format and for this platform to have people such as yourself to come and just pour into people's lives that may not have a chance to ever talk to you one on one
Yes.
or
Yes.
meet you in person. So I'm just grateful for that. Thank you, Miss Joyce, for the congratulations. I appreciate you.
Yes. That is a big deal. Congratulations.
Miss Joyce has been a guest on my show also. I'm going to have her back.
Okay. And I will come when she's on.
Oh,
I
wow. You hear
support.
that, Miss Joyce?
I gotta support Miss Joyce.
Yeah, she's a doll. She's a doll. And I appreciate her as well. So what we're going to do, as I said earlier, Elisa wanted to give someone a book,
Yeah.
because, and now that I think about it, the last time she came, she gifted somebody something. That's just who she is.
Yeah.
Um, and I love and appreciate her. So this is what I want to do. I hate that I can't really see everybody, but this is what we're going to do. We may not be able to make a selection here online, Elisa, because I can't see everybody's comments.
Let me
But
see if
I
I can see somebody here.
okay, because this
Yeah.
is what I want to do. First, I want you to choose a number, and I
Oh,
want to
this is
give.
going to be fun while I'm checking.
Okay, I want you to choose a number between 1 and 100, and the person who gets the closest to the number without going over. And there's two parts to this.
Okay.
I want you to choose a number, and I want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And that would be A Mother's Cry and Let's Talk Destiny is the name of the YouTube channel. So once I confirm that you have subscribed to the channel and that you have chosen the right number, I will make sure that Madame Elissa Gabrielle gets your name, and she will definitely send you your name and address, and she will send you a book or an ebook, whichever she decides.
Okay. We have Matima Jackson as listed 85. So I can see
You see,
that.
I'm so glad you can see that because I can't see anything.
Yeah, in the comments, I could see that. So I'm excited. I'm excited to give this
All right, Mutima said 85.
85. Yeah, so we can see a little bit there. Now, I don't know if we're going to talk about Peace in the Storm Publishing, but we do have some exciting news.
Oh, yes, please do.
Yeah. So, Peace in the Storm Publishing has been around since 2005. We have won so many awards and have been nominated for so many awards. And I did it as a one woman show on my dime and in my way and on my terms. And I love that independence.
Yes.
I think we were one of the first independent publishers that got a deal with Walden Books and Borders across the country for our books as unknown newcomers. And also, Black Expressions, if you remember that, Black
Yes.
Expressions, we were there. I'm so happy about everything that we've done over the years. But March 7th, we released an anthology, Women Behind the Mic, where we have 22 women that have been pioneers in the music industry. My mother was, and she's going to be in some sort of book or something coming soon.
Yes.
And we were at the Apollo today. Dr. LaJoyce Bookshire and Michelle Joyce, who are the co-creators of the Women Behind the Mic movement. And so that was really a highlight for Peace in the Storm Publishing. I mean, we've done so many great things over the years. I remember Carla Victoria Wallace, who is an award-winning author with us. She's been with us for quite some time. I remember that she was with Jill Biden, First Lady.
Yeah.
We've been on television, Huffington Post and USA Today, Madame Noir, and just we've been all over. But we have a new children's book by Janine Selevsky. Author AJ Love is coming out with a new children's book, as well as Cherubim Joy. Hopefully, you all will see a book from me at some point, and we're going to thank God in advance for that.
Right.
Cheryl Gordon Love is doing a magnificent job as publisher of two of the imprints with Peace in the Storm Publishing, and that's After the Storm Publishing and ASB Kids. And we have Dr. LaJoyce Brookshire, who is running Renewing Your Mind, Inc. Under Peace in the Storm Publishing. So we're really excited. I have some things in the works that I can't talk about just yet, but I'm hoping that they come to fruition, and we'll see. With somebody that I love dearly, and I know you know her, Tasha Mills,
Yes.
who is just, she's phenomenal. And I love her dearly. I love her like a sister, and I'm so blessed to have her in my life. And we're
Yes.
planning some things together as well. She's a safe space for me.
That's
She's a
why.
wonderful friend. She's a wonderful sister. We both have given each other the freedom to be vulnerable, and we love each other. And I needed her in my life. She's just a genuine person, and I thank God for her. as well as Cheryl Gordon Love. She is I talk to her every single day. Every Yeah. So anyway, we're having a good time over here at Peace in the Storm Publishing. We got a lot slated for this year's release,
Oh,
including The Breakthrough, Beauty for Ashes, which is the book that you will be in. And we hope to free some women with that book by telling
yes,
our stories. And so I'm
absolutely.
really excited about that. I'm hoping some women will be able to identify themselves in the stories and understand that there is a real strong possibility that you can triumph over adversity.
Absolutely, absolutely. I
Yeah.
just love it. I love it. I'm just proud of you because it is not easy being a woman in the literary world. From what I see, there's so many
No.
challenges and so
Right.
many attacks and so many
Mhm.
assumptions, and and for you to have stood the storm this long and not just standing there like in the middle of the wilderness saying I'm still standing, but
Mhm.
you're thriving and you're growing, and I'm just very proud of what I see you doing. I just want you to know
Yeah.
that.
We are trying, we're trying, and I'm glad about the effort. It didn't come with some, highs and lows, but that's life, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We can't have one experience and not the other because then it would be neither.
And
So
that's the truth.
we give God the glory for lessons. I tell people I don't lose. I either win or I learn. I've done a lot of learning here and a lot of winning. So
Yes.
thank God for that. Yeah.
And I was thinking about Cheryl Gordon Love. She's a doll. Um, I met her one time. My son was in New Jersey in college, and I went up there to see him play basketball at the college. And I told her I was coming, and her baby boy came to the game, and we got to meet each other. And after that, she just kind of adopted him like an auntie, and
Oh, I love
make
that.
sure he was okay. And
Yeah.
because I'm like way down here in Maryland, he's way up there, and
Mhm.
because of my physical limitations, I can't get to him every time he had a need. So I called
Yeah.
Aunt Cheryl, and she would
Oh,
check on him and stuff like that. And I don't take those things for granted, um,
right.
because I know that people don't have to. My mother
Right.
used to tell us people don't have to be kind to you, and when they are, you need to say thank you.
Oh, that's
And so,
phenomenal advice.
absolutely. And so I do appreciate her. Did you have anything else you wanted to share with us tonight? I don't see any questions or anything. So,
Okay. Well, listen, I just want to thank you for everything, for who you are and how you get up every day and share something of value even though you are in pain. It takes a one heck of a woman to do that. To push aside her own suffering, just to even say hello, or to throw up a silly picture, or to say, "Can I pray for you?" You know, I love how you have made your life bigger than your own. But we're going to talk some more because I want to make sure you stay on your own to do list.
yes, ma'am.
Yes. So,
That
no,
is
I
so
don't have
important.
anything else to share. I like to tell people that I'm Googleicious. You can Google me. And that's not a brag sheet. I had someone say that to me the other day and said, "Oh, have you Googled me?"
Oh,
And I said, "Wow." I could say, "Well, have you Googled me?" But I didn't.
exactly.
I think
Exactly.
I just I rather be known for being a great person than to say, "Have you Googled me?" And my character is just so screwed up.
So
So
jacked
I'll
up.
leave that at that. But
That is so
Lisa
funny.
Gabrielle Naturals is still going strong. We're on Etsy. I'm running a sale right now. If you're dealing with edges that are thin or slow growing hair, anything else like that, I have two products that really can help you. We're still publishing books, and we're trying to do everything we can with the time that God has given us. And I appreciate this platform and the ability to share with
Yeah,
your viewers. And I'm looking forward to getting to know Joyce and Mutima and whoever else is out there.
absolutely, absolutely. And I
Yeah.
seriously, like, I mean, with my whole heart, I encourage you all to reach out to Elisa, connect with her here on social media. get the information for her lines of her natural products, her holistic products. I mean, all of that. This woman is the real deal. She's not just talking to hear herself talk, but if she says that she has something that will help you, trust me, it will help you. Um, Cheryl says that Elissa Gabrielle Naturals definitely grew her edges back. So if you're having
Mhm.
any
Okay.
trouble with that, I also know that Cheryl also is taking some medication, not medications, but some natural items to help her with some of her health challenges, like the high blood pressure and stuff like that.
Mhm.
These
She
things
has done so well.
yeah, and these things are working. So
Yeah.
we've got to do better. It's like she said at the beginning, when you know better, you have to do better, and you can't
Mhm.
spend the rest of your life saying I don't know, because there's too
That's
much.
not going to work anymore.
It's too much
We can't do that.
information out there. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely. Oh, you know what? One last thing. We are on a mission to empower people in their finances too. So with
Okay.
health and wealth really go together a lot of the
Oh yeah,
time. I'm finding that in one of my other businesses, I'm helping to empower people to live a better existence by improving their finances. So if anyone is interested in adding something else onto their 9 to 5, I promise you it will be so worth it. I've done it and it has really helped me. And through the storms and the ups and downs of life, I know that I'll probably be okay because I've done the due diligence to
yes,
start to build in a way that if something crashes, I'm not going to be homeless.
yeah,
And so we have to think about that. These jobs only love us as long as we are doing the due diligence, and
absolutely.
but they don't really love us, and so we
That's
have to love ourselves. In addition to loving to go to work and do well there,
so
we
true.
cannot work 9 to 5 every day and then don't work 2 hours a day for our own.
For our own selves.
So I'm here.
So
If
true.
anybody has any questions, I will help you in that regard as well.
I remember, I'm going to say this and then I'm going to close out. But I remember I used to work at this place, and it was so stressful. I kept having those TIAs, like those mini strokes.
Yeah.
And I went to the doctor like the fourth or fifth time I went. He said, listen, I'm not going to tell you to quit your job, because I would never tell anybody to be without work. But you have got to leave that job, because it's going to kill you over there.
Oh,
So
God.
I went back. I love you too, Cheryl. Um, I went back and was trying to talk to my supervisor about, some things that needed to be changed. And her response was, well, you're working here at a health department. If anything happens to you, you're surrounded by nurses, you'll be okay.
Oh,
So I knew then that I was not their number one priority.
right.
And like I've said to people before, if you give your all to a job and you die, within 48 hours, they will have filled your position and got one of those 2 for $1 cards from the Dollar General for your family. And that's the end of that. Like
That's it.
you weren't even there. So you are so right. Thank you for that reminder. We have got to make ourselves our number one priority. And I keep telling myself that. And sometimes I think I'm doing it, but other times I'm not. So you and I definitely need to talk.
We have to talk, and that's all right. We'll touch and agree, and we'll walk some of this journey together, and it's going to be okay.
Yes, ma'am. All
Yeah.
right, everyone. Again, I thank you so, so, so much for joining us. And when I get sign off of here, I will be able to look at my Facebook page and see uh, who else, put in a number for the book or what have you, and then we'll go from there. But I am so grateful that you spent this time with me tonight, Elisa.
Thank you.
And when I look at you, and this is silly, but I'm silly. When I look at you, I think about all the great things you're doing, but I also keep thinking about the bear that keeps coming into your yard. Like
Oh,
that fascinates me to no end. Like
yeah,
the last video you had of of the bear walking around like that, your car and
right.
everything. I kept showing it to my son, and he was like, "Mom, if you show me that bear one more
Right. Yeah. Well, listen, we built a house here in the mountains and we kind of probably came into their territory. So he or she is a couple of them. I think we built by a den here because they show up in my driveway when they're out of hibernation. They kind of look around my garbage and, sit on my porch. And so who's really living like, am I in their home or they're in my home? So
I think it's so fascinating because you see things like that on TV, but you don't know
Mhm.
anybody personally that has
Oh, sure.
bears up on their porch.
They'll be back.
Fascinating.
They'll be out of hibernation pretty soon, and we'll start to see them again. And my husband will be fussing in the middle of the night when they done tipped over the garbage, and it's a whole thing.
That is too cute. But again, I thank you so much for joining us. Thank you
Thank
again, Miss
you.
Joyce. We appreciate you as well.
Thank
Everyone
you.
else that joined us, we have Betty Brinson Haynes, I believe it is.
Oh, I know her name. Yes. Hi, Betty. And I love you, Cheryl Gordon Love.
Yeah,
I can't go a day without Cheryl Gordon Love.
that is too funny. She is hysterical. I
Yes, she
remember
is.
when I first met her and her baby boy, I think it was her baby boy was with her. And
Hmm.
my son had come out of the locker room after playing the game. And I said, "This is my friend Cheryl." And he looked at her and his head snapped around. And he looked at her son and he looked back. He did like 3 or 4 times and he whispered to me, "They look just alike."
Yes. Yes, strong genes. She's a
Very.
bully anyway, so I'm not surprised all her children look just like her.
Yeah, okay then. All right, guys. Thank you all so
Well,
much.
thank
I love
you.
you and I
I
appreciate
love you
you.
too.
Thank you for spending time with me.
Yes. Well, thank you, honey, and we will talk soon. My
Absolutely.
father used to always tell me, go with God. So I will tell you
Absolutely.
to go with God.
Yes, ma'am. Good
Yeah.
night. God bless you.
Good night, everyone. Bye bye.